Hello and good evening, teacups. Welcome back to Spill the Tea Lou. Apologies for my quite delayed reaction. I wasn't sure if I was live or not, but it says I'm live, so hopefully I am. Let me know if you can see and you can hear me. All should be going well. It's lovely to see all of the wonderful teacups in the chat. Hope you are all doing well and good. Hope everybody is having a very lovely evening and had a very lovely afternoon. But before we get stuck into the show, before I greet all of the wonderful teacups, I do have to say thank you very much as ever to our resident super chatters, to Rob, to All Boxed Up. Thank you both very much. All Boxed Up has, of course, unboxed the show. Rob has sent us in a pair instead of a Foxy. We've got the Hey You pair. Rob is changing it up. He's changing it up. So thank you very much to both All Boxed Up and to Rob. Very much appreciated as always. I see Flossie says you look stunned. Do you know what it is, Flossie? I've been messing around with the stream. Hold on. Which is why nothing's where it's supposed to be. I've been messing around. I've been getting familiar with OBS, figuring out what I can and can't do. So I now have my chat within OBS. I can see the live chat within OBS. And normally what I was having to do before was I was having to start the stream in OBS and then start it separately in YouTube. But apparently I've clicked some buttons and I'm now able to start in OBS, and I didn't really know if it was going to work or not work or how long the delay might be. So I'm basically just getting used to what it looks like and how it works. But we're live, which is the most important thing, and I can see you guys, which is the next most important thing. So let me say hello to the very wonderful, very lovely teacups. Hopefully my eyesight will allow this because it's slightly smaller. It is slightly smaller than it is on YouTube, and I'm afraid to push any buttons in case I break it. So thank you very much for being here. There is my little TED talk on how to work technology when you can't actually work technology. But hello to you guys. I see Gregory. I see Random. Of course, I see Mama Flossie. I see Guess is in the chat with us as well. Jazz is in the house. Bonkers. Lily is with us. Hello to you guys. Rob and All Boxed Up, of course, are here with their super chats in tow. Thank you both very much as well. Just fantastic. There's Gaz and Shem. I see Gaz and Shem as well. They haven't escaped the hello train at the start of the show. Please bear with me while I cough a lung up and then I will be back with you. Do you know when you just know you're getting sick? I just know I'm getting sick. I can feel it on my chest. So after this, I'm going to go and take an absolute ton of medicine. So hopefully I won't get really, really sick, because I need to be able to talk tomorrow for the entire watch along. So getting really sick just isn't an option. But it's still warm. It's still warm here, guys. Is it warm there where you are? Is it still warm? Here it's roasting. It's really quite overcast now, but it's still like heavy, warm, sticky heat. And I was doing stuff in the garden today, not planting plants and stuff, but I was painting the fence, and it's roasting. I see Mr. DJ Milkshake and Huge have also joined us. Right, let me see. Can I zoom this? It's just too tiny for me. Oh, I can zoom it without breaking anything. The problem is I can't unzoom it. That's an issue. Okay, all right. Well, that's just not going to work though, is it? Let me see. Sorry guys, I've managed to, after getting the chat up, I've managed to lose it, which is just really highly intelligent of me. So hold on until I bring the chat back up on the screen. No, now it's really super too zoomed. No, it's not working right. Okay. I thought I had it working. I didn't. I broke it. I broke it. It was all going so well and I absolutely broke it. So now I need to get my chat from here. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to talk to you guys and that would just be no fun at all. But it's all right because I'm an IT wizard now and I know how to fix these things on the fly because I'm just so clever. Right, I can in fact now see you all, which is excellent. Gregory says, take some zinc, it could shorten the duration. I have to be honest, Gregory, I'm like, my immune system is normally very, very good. I'm very lucky. My immune system is normally fairly on the button, but I've been reckless. I've not been sleeping properly. I've not been hydrating enough. I've not been sleeping properly. I've not been doing all the things you're supposed to do to take care of yourself. So I'm just a little under the weather, but I should be all right. I tend not to get like really, really sick. You know the way some people get it really bad when they get anything. I tend not to be too bad. So fingers crossed, I'll be all right. Rob said it's very hot in London as well. No, where guess is it's cool. Guess yous must be coming into your cold weather though. But no, it's roasting here. Flossie says it's hot there as well. It's been hot all day. 20 degrees. 20 degrees. Yes, your secret ninja skills, they did not work, Shem. I'm sorry to tell you. Secret ninja skills did not, in fact, work. I'm so sorry to break your wee heart. But let us get started on the show, guys. I see Moonshine has joined us as well. Hello to Moonshine and thank you for being here. But let us get stuck into the show because I've essentially just been nattering here for the first, how long are we in? 5-10 minutes? And I've just been yappering away without any actual substance to what I'm saying. So we are now going to speak to the transfers. About the transfers, on the transfers, whichever words you would like to use. We're going to talk about the transfers, okay? Now, this one I actually think is really important. It's probably not the most glamorous. It's probably not the most in your face. It's not one of the big clubs. It's probably not one of the ones that's going to get pushed out there the most. But I think this is actually a really, really, really important one. And I think it's really nice to see and I'm quite impressed. And I want to talk about it and I want to give it the attention that I feel it deserves. So, I've seen it from Sasha Taglieri, but as far as I understand, everybody's sort of reported on it now. So, it has come out, Ndiaye, I always put the second I in the wrong place. Ndiaye has decided to reject Al Hilal's huge offer in order to remain in the Premier League. His decision is driven by his sporting ambition to continue developing at Everton with the prospect of a major transfer in the next transfer windows. So I actually think that is so important. See, when we're seeing young players, because Somerville, I think for me, was the key one that we had this summer. So previously, moving to far-flung leagues, whether they be in China, whether they be in Saudi, whether it be in America, in the States, it was always considered that's what you do at the end of your career. So when you're good, when you're at the top of your game, you play within Europe, within the Premier League, within La Liga, within, those kind of areas. And then whenever you're ready to retire, when you're looking for a bit of an easing off the pedal, when you're thinking a bit of a payday at the end of your career, you go off to these far-flung countries and finish out your career. And then we've seen a movement more and more over the last maybe two years, I would say maybe, like summer gone and the summer previously. It seems to be that there was more and more younger players kind of at the peak of their powers going to these leagues, getting a payday and then trying to come back in some scenarios. We have seen that over the last few years. Players going out there for the big payday, they're staying there for like maybe a season or two and then they're trying to come back. So they're almost starting off their career, getting established, going off to these leagues, getting their big old payday, and then coming back and finishing out their careers or attempting to finish out their careers back in Europe, the Premier League, etc. And I thought Somerville's 24 years of age. He's gone this summer for the money. He's gone for the money. There's no other way to put it, and I'm not criticising him for that, but that's factual. There's no other reason he's gone to that area to play football. So, to see Iliman Ndiaye at 26 years of age have an absolutely immense offer and say no. And not no because I'm a league title winners Arsenal. Not no because I'm a juggernaut Manchester City. Not no because I'm one of the most historically big clubs in Liverpool and Man United. He said no to Al Hilal, and he's going to say it Everton, lads. And I just thought, you know what? I don't think, and maybe I'm underestimating the internet world, I don't feel like enough people are going to make a big enough deal about this. He's 26 years of age. He's in what most people would consider to be the peak of his career. He's had an absolutely huge offer from Al Hilal, and he has turned down the money to stay at Everton, to continue to play football, to stay in the Premier League. Now, he does say that he has ambitions, he wants to continue developing, and he would hope for a major transfer in the next coming windows. But obviously he's hoping for those transfers to be, I would imagine, reading between the lines, and this is opinion, within the Premier League. He's hoping if he stays at Everton and he does well again this season, that maybe next season he goes to an Arsenal or a City or a Liverpool or United or whoever it is in the top teams by the end of next season, coming into the next summer window. And I just think this has to be applauded. I'm not criticising anybody that chooses to go. That is what they need to do, and they absolutely need to do what they feel is best for them. So anybody that goes, Somerville, at the time, I did not criticise Somerville for going. However, my personal opinion is that I feel happy to see a player making a decision based on what appears to be the love of the game, or at the very least the love of the league, rather than the love of the money. Now, guys, I don't know. I'm not a professional footballer. Maybe if I was that good, I'd be like, give me all the money. I'm off, lads. I'll see you later. So as I said, I'm not... Rob, feel free to ban him. Just ban him. There's no point in even trying to speak to somebody like that. Just ban him immediately. If that's his first comment in the chat, he can go. So thank you, Rob and Mama Flossie, for being super fast there. But yeah, just feel free to ban him entirely. Doesn't need to be here. For anybody that missed that, some dude decided to come in and make inappropriate comments about my appearance. So now they're gone. But thank you to the mods. Super fast. They're like lightning, lads. They're like lightning. It's like whack-a-mole. Gone. So in case anybody missed it, he's gone. He's been whacked. Oh, that was the survival of the fittest. He was too slow. Right, but back to Iliman Ndiaye. Sorry, that's really made me laugh because it was so fast. I hadn't even seen the message and it was gone. That's how fast they are. The best mods in the game. But as I said, I want to make it very clear. I do not criticise anybody that opts to go for the money. That is entirely their decision. It is their career, and if that is what they feel is best for them, they should absolutely do that. However, it makes me happy to see a player say, no, I want to stay in the Premier League. It doesn't matter how much money you offer me. Thank you very much. But I love the game. I love the league. I love the competitive level that I'm at. I want to stay here and to continue developing. And I feel that this is what's best for me and my football and my career. And I'm still earning a pretty old big sum of money. And I really, as I said, I just really want to highlight it because he's staying at Everton, it might not be recognised. Because he wasn't on top of everybody's transfer list the way Somerville was for a little while, it might not be recognised. And I think it's important because if all of these young players, 24, 25, 26, at the peak, are going off to other leagues, whether that be Saudi or elsewhere, we lose quality within the Premier League. If all the players over time, more and more and more of them, start to move out of the Premier League at what is considered to be their peak ages, the Premier League loses something. The spectacle within the Premier League becomes less good. So I'm really pleased from a point of view of competitiveness in the league, from a point of view of quality within the league. I'm absolutely delighted, and I just want to give Iliman Ndiaye a big old pat on the back, because he's turned down an enormous sum of money that a lot of us maybe wouldn't, to be fair. As I said, I don't know what I would do in that scenario, but he's done it to stay in the Premier League. And I think when someone wants to stay in our league for the love of the league and the love of the game, I think we need to be giving them a pat on the back and, you know, make sure that they know that we appreciate that they are giving us their peak years. Whether you think it's the most exciting player on the planet or not, this is their peak years, and they're giving them to the Premier League for us, for our entertainment, and turning down an enormous sum of money to do so. So I think we need to give them a wee old pat on the back for that, personally. Huge says, I'm just glad some players still love the game and want to be the best they can. As fans, it's easy to love the game, so it's nice to see some players also have that. And I think that's so important. And I think without saying it, you've also given the other point. At the end of the day, for a lot of players, this is their job. This is how they earn money to feed their family, their extended family, potentially build businesses or invest in their home countries. Maybe we've seen that with some players that have come to the Premier League. They've earned money and they've sent money home and like built schools and hospitals. We've seen Marcus Rashford, he didn't use his money, but he used his platform to try and get school kids fed. And a lot of the players, like, this is their job, and they use what they earn from this job to do what they want to do. And I wouldn't let somebody tell me what to do in my job. So as I said, I'm not criticising anybody, but I can still have a preference on what I would like to see them do. Do you know what I mean? But that is the other side of it. It is their job. It is their job. Therefore, if they decide, well, I've had an alternative offer for the same job with a bigger wage packet and I have to do a bit less work, I don't think you can begrudge them taking it, but you can appreciate the people who don't. Mr. DJ Milkshake saying Fulham made more money than La Liga winning Barcelona. Exactly. And that's what I mean. They're not staying in the Premier League on a pittance, but they're certainly not getting the money. He's not going to get the money at Everton that Al Hilal was offering him. So I agree with you. There's money in the Premier League. They're not paupers. But he's definitely getting less money at Everton than he would have got at Al Hilal. So the two of them can be true at the same time. Gregory says players should have ambition, and he clearly does, because the reason he wants to stay is his sporting ambition is to continue developing. Do you know what I mean? So I like it. I like it a lot. And Mr. DJ Milkshake, it is a fair point. The French, Spanish, Italian and Portuguese feel the same way about their players leaving their leagues to go to the EPL, and I wouldn't argue the point with them at all. I wouldn't argue the point with them, because they're not wrong. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind, because I watch the Premier League, so it doesn't bother me. If I watched the Saudi League, I would be delighted if he went to Al Hilal. It is very much biased based on the league that I enjoy. I'm a fan of the Premier League. I'm a fan of a team in the Premier League. Therefore, I want what's best for my viewing experience. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't argue with any other league's fans for saying that, because how can I? Do you know? Let me see. Yes, there are some trolls out there, guys. There are definitely some trolls. Let me see. Random says 300 to 400k tax-free a week is hard to turn down. I'm not sure I'd turn it down on hopes. And that's the thing. He's done something maybe a lot of us wouldn't do in our personal, like in our own decision. So I just think you need to give a pat on the back when something like that happens, because a lot of the time we're quick enough to criticise a player who leaves for the money. I personally, as I said, don't, but I see it a lot. So I think then we have to do the opposite of, if they opt to stay, recognise that and give the credit 100%. The mods getting all the phrase in the chat, which they very much deserve. Guessing, can we call her Sheriff Mama? It might have to be Sheriff Flossie. We might have to change it from Mama Flossie to Sheriff Flossie. She had the pistols out quick there, so she did. Gregory says, I know a few have... Oh, that's all about the warm weather. Fairs. Okay. All Boxed Up says, if I was offered millions to go to Saudi, I would be off. Stay a minimum amount of time, then be back where I was before. The Saudis seem very lax and are willing to let the players go if asked. I get the impression they don't want anyone there who doesn't want to actively be a part of furthering their football project. I do agree with that. But yeah, definitely. That's what a lot of them seem to be doing, and that's what I mean. He's broken the mould a little bit, so we have to give him the shout out. I personally wanted to anyway. Moonshine, yes, I am also sick of women having to put up with this shit. Absolutely. You're telling me, friend. You're telling me. Lucky is in the house, agrees with me. Thank you very much to Lucky. Let me move forward the other direction. Let me see. I'm up to date there. Mohammed's with us. Hello, Mohammed. Mohammed joined us while I was busy scrolling. Yes, you missed a troll, Mohammed. Flossie and Rob were just too fast for him. Right. So I think that was really good. As I said, I wanted to look at it in terms of him turning it down. The other thing I want to look at is, okay, so it does say that he has ambition to continue developing at Everton, with the prospect of a major transfer potentially in the next coming windows. And I just wonder, guys, he is a winger. There's a lot of Premier League clubs looking for a winger. There's a lot of Premier League clubs that like Premier League proven. Is there a possibility that he doesn't go to Al Hilal, but that he also maybe doesn't stay at Everton? Is there a possibility that a big club or one of these big transfers decides to come in from this transfer window instead? Is it possible that he stays within the Premier League but not at Everton? Or do we think that's the end of it? And this, on my part, is pure speculation. I haven't seen any reports. Maybe they're out there. They might be out there. There's so many reports. I personally haven't seen any, but I'm just thinking, if Everton were preparing for him to go until this point, if he was preparing to go until this point, and essentially what's happened is he wants to stay within the Premier League, with all these Premier League clubs looking at wingers, does it not make sense that somebody within the Premier League might come in from within this window? If Everton were already planning for him to be at Al Ahly and not be at Everton, what's the difference? Maybe they were counting on that money. Maybe they would like the money to come in. Maybe they don't. Maybe they'd prefer to keep him. I just wonder if it's a possibility. Do you know what I mean? The way this window is at the moment, I find it difficult to say definitely anything won't happen. If you're following me. And so I had a little bit of a look at him just to see, because I don't really know that much about him. I don't watch Everton all the time, lads. They're not one of my top 5 teams. So I didn't know that much about him, and I wanted to have a little look. So he started out at Sheffield United in the Championship, 22-23. That's as far back as it goes. He played 46 games, by the way, for them. And they earned promotion to the Premier League that season where he played with them. Then he went to Marseille, which seems like an odd move. I don't know what the reasoning was. But he played 30 games there, featured heavily in Europe, had 3 goals, 3 assists there. By the way, can I just say, see when he was at Sheffield United, I know that's a few seasons ago, in the Championship, 46 games, he had 14 goals and 10 assists. He had 24 GA in 46 games in the Championship and was part of a team that got promoted. And I would suggest when you have 24 GA, you were a big part of potentially getting the team promoted from the Championship. And we know the Championship is not an easy league. So just to put that out there, he then did go to Marseille, and played 30 games, 3 goals, 3 assists, so much more understated, much more underwhelming. Then he moved from Marseille to Everton, 24-25, 33 appearances, so he's playing in a lot of games, to be fair. 9 goals, 0 assists, so 9 goals from the wing at Everton, 24-25, and is listed here as the team's primary attacking threat, securing historic milestone goals. He then obviously played with Everton again last season. He had 32 appearances, 6 goals, 3 assists, so 9 GA. So he's pretty consistent there. 9 goals and then 6 and 3, 9 GA the second season. Scored the historic first goal at Everton's new stadium. Now, like I said, he may be somebody that they want to hold on to, especially since nobody really seems to know what's happening with the likes of Grealish or any other kind of wingers that are about the place. And so I was just curious. Now, I saw Moonshine saying he's a good player, but he's not joining Liverpool. I don't know if he's joining anyone. It looks like he might just be staying at Everton. My question is more so, would it be a good idea for teams to come in from? United, I don't think so, because we have got Rashford, Cunha, Dorgu, and we've got Ahmad, Mbeumo, and God knows who else. Shea Lacey, I know he's been playing kind of in a 10. He can sort of play out on the right wing as well. He's very good on the right wing. I don't think we need a winger. But I mean, Liverpool do, as Moonshine alludes to. Obviously, Spurs do. Do Spurs pivot away from Savinho and not get any Chelsea player and go for Ndiaye? I don't know, guys. As I said, he might stay at Everton. I'm just wondering. There's a lot of teams looking for wingers. There's quite a decent level winger at a decent age who's clearly in it for the love of the game. And I think that's important. So a lot of the time at United, we say we don't want players that are mercenaries. We don't want players that are just in it for the money because they don't put in maybe the same effort level as somebody who's there for the love of the game. And I think what would stand to him massively is he has just turned down Al Hilal and a massive offer because he wants to be in the Premier League and he wants to play football and he wants to progress himself. That has to stand to him. And he's 26. He's a very good age. And as I said there, like, he played 46 matches in the Championship, 30 at Marseille, 33 Everton, 32 Everton. So he's playing games. And he's listed here, right? His main position on transfer market, and I'm going to come to your comments, is listed as a right winger. He can also play left wing and attack in midfield. But then I went and I had a little look at it. And you see if you actually go into him, right? So if I go into his career stats, right, this is all time. He has played as a second striker, as a right winger, as an attacking midfielder, as a centre forward, and as a left winger, okay? So he's listed as a right winger on transfer market. That's his primary position. However, of his career, he's played 205 matches, okay? 53, so a quarter of them were at the left wing. 51, another quarter, were as a centre forward. 37 then as an attacking midfielder, and only 26 of them as a right winger. So he's played 53 matches as a left winger and 51 as a centre forward. 37 attacking midfield, 26 right wing, 14 second striker. He doesn't mind being a utility player, and he can definitely play across the front and slightly behind. For the fee you would potentially get him for from Everton, who understand that they sell players, that's part of their model, I just, like, he played, let's see, what did he do last season? Just to see. Hello? So last season, he played 17 games on the right wing and 13 games on the left wing. So he really can play both wings. He played 2,789 minutes in the Premier League last season, and he played in 2 EFL Cup games. He played 2,833 minutes last season between both wings. Guys, like, I think it's a bit of an opportunity for some teams. Lucky's saying 3 roles in 1. Yeah, at minimum, Lucky, at minimum 3 roles in 1. Absolutely. Moonshine is saying, I wonder how much he would cost. That's the question, really. He's listed on Transfer Market at €55 million, but you can't trust Transfer Market. I wonder if I can find how much was the deal going to be at Al Hilal. Let me see that. How much were Al Hilal going to pay for Ndiaye? Apparently they were prepared to pay, and this might put some off, £75 million. Now, obviously we know that those clubs tend to play slightly over the odds versus what was normally be paid in the Premier League. So you have to wonder, could you get him for £60 to £65 million in the Premier League? And as I said, can play across the front, is clearly available, played a lot of minutes, adds to goals and assists, is only 26 years of age, and is clearly about the love of the game, not the love of money. And I think that indicates the right attitude that you would want at a club, the non-toxic type of attitude. I'm not saying he's the best player on the planet. I can't, because I haven't watched him. But it feels like an opportunity for somebody. So let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, and that's it. Moonshine says that's the going rate in today's market. In this summer's market, it absolutely is. We've caught up. We've caught up with the Al Hilal prices. And Random says, I always thought he was a left winger. Well, that's because he's played more games on the left wing. So I don't understand. I think he's been listed as a right winger because that's where he played more games last season. But in his career, 53 at left wing, 51 at striker, and only 26 at right wing. So he is more of a left winger than a right winger, but can clearly do both. So you weren't wrong, Random. You weren't wrong at all. Moonshine reminding everybody to please hit those like buttons. Please do. Much appreciated. Gregory says point at a position other than goalkeeper, and we need them at United. I mean, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. Huge says Arsenal or Spurs should get him. Mr. DJ Milkshake reiterating Everton, no way Everton deals with Liverpool. And that's it. I think, look, Liverpool have got Munoz. They're looking at Barcola, whether that happens or not. There's obviously issues with between Everton and Liverpool that maybe they wouldn't do a deal with each other. But there's plenty of other clubs looking for wingers. And Huge there, absolutely. Arsenal most certainly are looking for a winger, as are Spurs. I think both of them should at least be considering it. At least be considering it. Moonshine says Arsenal would be the best destination in his opinion. And I think, like, there you go. Random says he's a better target than Neto for Arsenal. Could Arsenal come in here and get a bit of a scoop? Because I know this Julian Alvarez thing is kind of being talked about in some circles. I just don't see that happening. The same way as I didn't see Vinny happening, I don't see Alvarez happening, because he does not want to leave La Liga. He does not want to come to the Premier League, and if the player doesn't want to come, it won't happen. Both parties have to want it, the club and the player. So I just don't see it. Pedro Neto has, like, had a questionable reception at the thought of most fans signing him for their club, not just Arsenal fans. I think this is worth looking at with Ndiaye. Now, maybe it won't happen. Maybe he stays at Everton for a season and it's next summer. But he's one I'll now be watching this season, regardless of where it is, because I like that attitude. And if he does well and his ambition is to go forward, he's only going to be 27 by next window. But if I'm Arsenal, I'm looking at him. Definitely. If I'm Spurs, I'm looking at him over Savinho. 100%. If Savinho's going to be 60 odd million pound, I would probably rather put that towards Ndiaye. And maybe I'm just being mean because one of them plays for City and one of them doesn't. I mean, I'm open to the fact I might be being biased there, but that's my personal opinion. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Gregory says definitely maybe. Definitely maybe. What a phrase. What a phrase. Huge says he does need to move this window or next, otherwise he will end up like Matoma, had a similar offer to Saudi too and he chose to stay. And that's the thing. He's obviously hoping for a move to materialise, but within the Premier League. I just think we might see. Maybe we're starting it. Maybe we're starting the rumour mill. We're starting it here at Teacup Castle. We're actually spilling the tea. We're creating the tea bag. Maybe in the next 48 to 72 hours, we will start to see some links between Ndiaye and Spurs and or Arsenal. Maybe it just, there hasn't been enough time yet for those links to start. But there's a very strong possibility that there will at least be links. Let me see. Let me come back to you guys. Let me scroll forward again. Yes, Guest says we are only 60 away from 1,000 teacups. Come on, let's make it happen. Yes, we are at 940 teacups, by the way, guys. I don't like to say it because it jinxes it and then we lose some. But 940 teacups is just incredible. So thank you to everybody across the board, live, not live, watches on the catch up, watches but doesn't like to get into the chat, watches while they're doing the housework or walking the doggo. Thank you so much for subscribing and for being a part of it. It's absolutely sensational and I love it. I love just sitting here having an old natter. In case you can't tell, I love it. I really, really do. Bonkers reckons Arsenal should come from. Mohammed says, would Spurs take him over Gakpo? There's moving parts now, guys. There's moving parts. Hello, Danny, and welcome. We will see, guys, over the coming days. The news from Sasha Tavalieri, it only came out today. So by tomorrow, these links might all be happening. We might have just started something here. Everton might be keen to keep him. My thinking is just if they already thought he was going to Al Hilal, there's no harm in getting a few quid from him if somebody comes about. But fair play to him. I like the attitude. I like the way he moves. Let's see. Let's keep an eye on him. But he is not the only person potentially making moves, guys. Smooth. See how smooth that was? So this actually comes originally from Sam C Reports. So some people will know Sam C Reports. He used to work as part of the United Stand, but now he's branched out on his own. He has his own independent sources, independent of the United Stand. He used to bring a lot of news to them. He now works on his own. He primarily works through his Twitter account or his X account, and he doesn't get loads and loads of information, but some of what he gets does tend to be quite good. It's normally in relation to United, to be fair. This isn't. So he has put this out exclusive, and it is exclusive because nobody had it before him, and you'll see where I'm going in a minute. Understand, Benfica right back Amar Dedic is attracting interest from Newcastle United. The 23-year-old is on Newcastle's radar as they assess defensive options ahead of the new season. Dedic previously worked under current Newcastle boss Matthias Jaissle at RB Salzburg. Now, you don't have to trust Sam on this, even though he got it first. Fabrizio Romano has since come out and said Newcastle are in club-to-club talks with Benfica for 23-year-old fullback Amar Dedic. Negotiations started today and Dedic is keen on a Newcastle move, also approved as a target by Matthias Jaissle. Deal on follows Sam C reports today. So Fabrizio, given the stamp of endorsement to Sam C reports and saying this is real, this is happening, that information was correct, there's talks underway. What I will say, there's loads to say about this. We will look at the player, obviously. But yesterday, when we were looking at some of the links for Newcastle in terms of midfielders, we read the comments from Newcastle fans online, and some of them were saying, should we not be focusing on fullbacks instead of more midfielders? So the fact that this guy is a fullback, the fact that he's a right back, the fact that this is exactly what the fans have been hoping for, big old tick in the box, I think. Next of all, he's 23 years old and he's playing in Europe. That falls exactly into Newcastle's model. It feels much more like the way Newcastle have been moving this summer compared to the other two that we spoke about the other day, that I said this doesn't really feel like what Newcastle have been doing. This one feels much more like what Newcastle have been doing throughout the summer. It feels much more like the moves they've been making. And I would suggest, while they're saying here, do you know, he worked previously under Jaissle, Jaissle likes him. I said yesterday, it will be interesting to see the next target that's picked. Will it be Jaissle again? This feels like, while he's probably worked under Jaissle, it also has the touch of the Ross Wilsons about it. I feel like this feels like a more, what's the word? Like together, a more united sort of approach, a more cohesive sign into what Newcastle have been doing throughout the summer, as well as taking on board the new manager's opinion. It feels much more cohesive than just letting him run away with his own ideas. I find it very interesting. I find it very, very interesting. All boxed up. Every new person visiting, remember, you don't need a free transfer to subscribe and hit the like. It is totally free to do so. Love it, all boxed up. I love it. But I wanted to have a little look at this guy because, again, we don't know anything about him. And as you know, guys, they're my favourite. The ones I don't know anything about because I'm nosy. I don't know if you've noticed, right? I'm nosy. I like to know things, and if I don't know the thing, I like to try and find out about the thing. So the transfers I'm enjoying the most are the players I don't really know as much about. So obviously I got myself on Transfer Market. I had 2 trips to Transfer Market today. I had the time of my life. I think I'm having more fun than Man United's transfer team. I'm on all the transfer sites checking out what's going on with all the players. Let's see what's happening. But so I did get myself onto Transfer Market, had a little look at what was going on with him, and so let us have a little look together at this young man. So his name is Amar Dedic. He plays for Benfica in the Portuguese league, so no slouches. He is 23 years of age, so as I said, absolutely right in Newcastle's sort of age category that they're going with this summer. He's 1.8 metres tall, which means he's taller than me. I'm 5'8.5", and that's 174. So he's getting on 6 foot, I would say. And he's from, or his citizenship is Bosnia and Herzegovina. And he is a current international with Bosnia and Herzegovina. Now, let me go to, I haven't looked at him at all yet. Let us go to his injury record because I haven't looked at it. He is, by the way, a specialised right back, because I've now decided to check this when Transfer Market tells me things. He has already taken part in a Europa League qualifying game. Right, lads. So, he's a right back. He has played 164 games at right back. However, he has also played 41 games at left back, so he's definitely a right back. However, if you were stuck, he can help out at left back. He's also played 10 games at centre back and 3 games at left midfield and 3 games at right midfield. So he's not afraid to get stuck in. If the manager asks him to do something, he's going to say yeah. He is a right back though. So it's not like the previous one. It's not like Ndiaye, who he's played 50 games here, 50 games there, 37 games there. He's 164 games at right back. He is a right back. He can definitely play left back. And if you're really stuck, he's gonna do what John O'Shea did and put on the goalkeeper gloves. He'll help you out if you're stuck. So clearly enthusiastic, clearly happy to do what he's asked, clearly not fussed about taking one for the team, and has played, let me see, last season. Let us look at him last season. Show me last season, please. So last season, he played 3,515 minutes. That's a lot of minutes, lads. He played 24 games in the Liga Portugal. He played 10 games in the UEFA Champions League. He played 4 games in the qualifiers, 3 games in the Taça de Portugal, 1 game in the Allianz Cup, and 1 game in the Portuguese Super Cup. So 3,515 minutes he played last season. He played 41 games total, 39 of them were at right back, and at right back, by the way, he has a goal and 4 assists from right back, by the way, just to give you that from last season. He played 1 game at right midfield, so he was helping out the team, and 1 game at left back. Straight away, I like him. Straight away, he just sounds like a worker, and I like that. I think that's important. But you know what we have to do, guys? We do have to check the injury history. We do have to check the injury history, but I mean, that is dedication to the cause. So let us have a little look. His injury history. So last season, he missed 6 games through injury. So even though he played 3,500 minutes, he did miss 6 games through injury. 3 of them were an unknown injury and 3 of them were a muscle injury. What I will say, to be fair to him, is he played 3,500 minutes. I can understand why he might have had some muscle niggles here and there. Now, the previous season, he also missed 6 games. So he's consistent, 6 games the previous season. He missed 1 game with a hamstring injury. So that was whatever kind of hamstring injury that Bruno Fernandes got, our Bruno got, because he only missed a game as well. So very minor. He did miss 5 games on an adductor injury. And what I've noticed, guys, is almost every player that we have looked at this summer has had problems with their adductors. So I'm starting to think it might just be a side effect of being a footballer, because everybody seems to be getting adductor injuries at the minute. But like I said, 6 games. Not ideal. You don't want anyone to miss 6 games. But I mean, not dreadful either, not like really bad. Now, prior to that, 23-24, which to be fair is 3 seasons ago, was a bit more intense. He missed 13 games. Some of those were international duty, but he had calf problems, a foot injury, and a muscle injury. So what I will say is, none of his problems seem to be repetitive other than muscle, but they can be different muscles because it doesn't specify. But the foot injury hasn't recurred, calf problem hasn't recurred, adductor injury hasn't recurred, hamstring hasn't recurred. So none of them are recurrent injuries, and each individual injury seems to be a small period. The biggest period he missed was with the calf problem. That was 72 days and 8 games in 2024. It's now getting to the end of 2026 and that hasn't recurred. If we had seen more calf, I'd be like, right, that's a problem. You got to worry about that. But overall, not the most amazing injury history, but not bad. Not something I'd go, oh, that's a problem. Kind of seems okay, is what I would say. overall, like the sound of him. And apparently, so amongst the trophies he's won, Austrian Youth League Under-16s champion and Austrian Youth League Under-18s champion. So he's been active from a young age. And what's that one? And the Austrian champion. So that explains how Jaissle knows him. But again, it just feels much more along the lines of what Newcastle have been doing so far. And added to that is the bonus of him being a player that the manager knows. It feels more cohesive to what Newcastle have been doing. It feels more what the fans want Newcastle to do, because the fans were looking for fullbacks. It feels like a good move. It just feels more like the rest of Newcastle's window, more cohesive with everything. We'll see if anything happens, but shout out to Sam C, getting the exclusive scoop on that one, and nothing to do with Man United. So where he's got that from, I don't know, but he has got it, because Fabrizio's obviously checked it and then come out and said, actually, yeah, this is true. So shout out Sam C. If any of the Newcastle fans want to get on to Sam C, God knows what else he might come out with. But Lucky is pleased to be in the garden to cool down a bit because it's so warm. I agree, Lucky. You are just right. Get yourself cooled down. Flossie says, I do like our new manager, and it seems so do a lot of the fans. Are saying how handsome he is. He does seem to have a bit of aura about him, Flossie. Now, be careful, because I did say that about, who did I say was sensible? Your wee man for Chelsea. What was his name? I can picture his face, but his name has escaped me entirely. What was his name? That's actually, I have to Google that. That's actually dreadful. Just tell me his name. Liam Rosenio. Couldn't think of his name. It was just gone. It would not come to me at all. And then Google wouldn't tell me. It wanted me to look at the Wikipedia and read through everything. Chelsea Football Club, however, came up with the goods on their own website. So Liam Rosenio, I thought he was going to be all right. So, you know, don't set much in store by me. I also like Damram to begin with. However, I do like the look of your new manager. I think he feels that maybe it's just because he's fresh and new and he's such a departure from Eddie Howe. And I think that is what you needed. You didn't need somebody to come in the image of Eddie Howe, or somebody who was going to be similar to Eddie Howe. Or maybe, I know there's always going to be comparison, but I think they're so drastically different. There will be limited comparison between him and Eddie Howe. I think the more similar people are, the more people compare them, if that makes sense. So he just feels like a breath of fresh air. And at a time when your squad is being completely revamped, you've revamped the managerial role as well. I feel like I keep coming back to the word cohesive. I need to think of a different word. It's the word that makes the most sense to me, but I can't just keep saying that word over and over again. Flossie says, yes, he does. I haven't watched his presser yet, but he went around all the journalists and shook their hand. The journalists will love that. He'll be their bestie. You'll not see a bad story about him for at least 6 months. They love him now. Mr. DJ Milkshake, what made me think Rosenio was going to be all right? Mr. DJ Milkshake, what you'll notice, because obviously you've joined me in the summertime, so what you'll come to realise with me is, in the summertime, this is me being realistic, by the way. In case anybody's unsure, this is me being like sensible and realistic and everything. When I get into the season, it's not that I become like a different person. I don't have like multiple personalities for like, you know, I probably do, but I don't. Anyway, I'm going down a rabbit hole there. But I love a bit it's a Lulu. I love a bit of seeing the bright side. I very much, how I feel about things is like, say with Man United, I'll give you as an example. A lot of Man United people our fans are like very angry. They're writing off the season. They're not happy. It's going to be dreadful. We might as well not even play. Just give us 10th. That kind of a thing. And while I don't disagree with their point, our transfer window has been dreadful. We've not done nearly enough business. We're going to have an extra game a week. There's pressure now on Michael Carrick. It's his first actual full-time season. Now we're also going to have the Marcus Rashford circus around us, because whether he wants it or not, it follows him. And I don't think he wants it either. So I just kind of... I still think maybe we'll get third. And that's what I mean. I'm very glass half full, Mr. DJ Milkshake. So I wouldn't like to criticise people for criticising unless it's just incessant, because then even if you're right, it becomes irritating. But for the most part, I do try and look on the bright side. I'm not going to get angry in advance. When it happens, I'm going to be angry and miserable. I'm not going to start being angry and miserable now. Let me be Delulu. Let me be happy. Let me be excited. Let me think it's all going to be okay, right? And then do you see when it comes crashing down, I'm going to have so much time to be mad and angry when it all comes crashing down. I'm not going to do it in advance. What is the point in getting angry and upset in advance? Maybe it'll all be okay. It hasn't happened yet. Do you guys have that phrase? It hasn't happened yet. It's like a shortened version of a much longer phrase that I don't know. But it's essentially like, don't look so worried. It hasn't happened yet. The thing you're worried about or angry about might not happen. Maybe it will, but when it does, you can be angry then. Do you know? So different people do it differently. I've certainly had moments in this window where I've like been raging. But for the most part, I just think, look at the bright side. And so when it came to Liam Rosenior, I was like, he's different. He's not afraid to have silly ideas. And I know, see, when everyone was taking the mickey out of him for like the hand washing and all of the different things, I was like, but you know what? He's not afraid to take the mick out of himself. He's not afraid to have fun with it. He's not afraid to try different ideas. He's not concerned about appearances. He's more concerned about trying to do something that might actually help. And I thought he was very different to Maresca, and you know, they've tried different approaches, and I just thought maybe it would work. I just thought maybe it would work. It didn't. But I convinced myself. Some of the guys were here with me, and you'll meet Kai now, hopefully next week. I'll have to set that up with him. But I genuinely convinced myself that it was going to work. And it didn't. However, not to give Matthias Jaissle the kiss of death. I quite like him so far. I like the way he carries himself. I like the things he's saying. I like his quotes. I like the training videos I'm seeing. I quite like it. I like what Newcastle have done this summer. I like that they've cleared house. I like that they've brought in a fortune. I like that they've got on board loads of kind of 20 to 24-year-old, somewhat unknown, up-and-coming, semi-established, reasonably priced players that are all on the same page. They're all at the same kind of point in their career, and they've brought in a kind of younger, more hip aura manager instead of Eddie Howe to manage them. And I think some of those things that have happened by accident, I think Newcastle have done the Man United trick. They've fallen upwards in some ways, because some of these things were not their decisions, but they've happened anyway. And I think them all happening at the same time could be a bit of a perfect storm for Newcastle. I don't think they're going to win the league, lads, but I think they might get European football, you know. I'm talking myself into it. And that's what I mean. It's somewhat factual, somewhat vibes, you know? Can't help myself. So thank you for the question, Mr. DJ Milkshake. There was the longest answer you've ever heard in your life to a very short question. All Boxed Up says, Lou, it's all going to be fine. If I say it long enough, you might believe me and then it'll go wrong. Yeah, but when it goes wrong, then I'll be mad. But you know what I will have had? 3 months of being really excited and happy. Imagine just having 4 months of being miserable. I could be really happy and positive for 3 months and then be miserable. You know? It actually makes sense when you think about it. Lucky said, Lou, you're a great person. I like that we have someone that still see the clubs get at least 2 or 3 positions in before the window. It's a great way to look at life. Thank you very much, Lucky. You know, there's so much misery out there. Sometimes you just have to be fun. Now, like I said, if anybody saw the stream where I was talking about what we do was loaning our youth players, I wasn't very happy-go-lucky on that stream. I'm still a human. I'm a bit temperamental. But for the most part, I do try and be happy. I think it makes it a little bit easier. But on Ndiaye, we've now decided that either Spurs or Arsenal should buy Ndiaye because he's a lovely person. And this chap that has been loosely linked to Newcastle, Amar Dedic, is going to be the next big thing and they're going to win the league in 2 years. That's where I'm at with things right now. Exactly, Mr. DJ Milkshake. I love that. That's such a good quote. I love that. Don't let worrying about tomorrow upset your today. 100%. Love it. That's a great quote. That is a great quote. Guys, I think that might be the quote that we end the show on, because not only is it sensational, but we have been here for an hour and it just feels like the right time. It feels like the moment is with us. The moment is now. It's time for us all to end the stream. So, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking part, for getting involved, for getting your thoughts, opinions, fun anecdotes, quotes of the day into the chat. Absolutely love it. And I see the Ollie. I'm going because otherwise I'll be here for another hour. I see it. Mama Flossie and Mr. DJ Milkshake are talking about Ollie. Guys, I can't. We would be here for another hour. Love Ollie. Ollie for the win. Right, I have to go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking part. Thank you for being wonderful. We will be back tomorrow, 12 o'clock. And then tomorrow evening, pre-season watch along. Love it. Enjoy your evening. And I will chat to you all very, very soon, folks.